Hello, everyone. You're listening to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends. I'm Mallory, and we are a pop culture podcast. That's not like other podcasts. We talk about culture and we also change culture. You know, just girly things. I hope you guys like that new intro. Let me know. I don't know, going back and forth with that. Have not talked to everyone, and it's been like 2 weeks since we all put an episode out. So, hello. Sorry it's been so long. If you follow my personal, you know that I have been très busy. But back to regularly scheduled programming. Um, Tuesday and Saturday episodes. Tuesday most times, Saturdays every week. So, you're listening to this on Tuesday. I'm actually recording this on a Sunday. And you're listening to this on a Tuesday. I want to talk about a couple of things because we have not been able to do TCAP, so I haven't been able to bring in announcements and things like that. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then we're going to get into the topic. You guys see the title of today's episode, so you already know what I'm talking about this week. But okay, so a couple of announcements. Do not forget, we are collecting money for pads and tampons. Ideally, I'd like to go ahead and see how much we can do for the whole month of September. The goal is $250. Donating $5 here and there really, really, really helps. And what we're doing is we're donating the money. I'm going to go pick up organic. I'm going to try to stick with organic. We had Macy, who owns Garnu, which is an organic tampon company, talk about why organic is important. And I really, I want to be better. If we're going to help these girls, if we're going to donate something, I want it to be something good and healthy for them. And we're doing that. And that goal is to stock their school's nurse's office. So they'll have all of their pads and tampons that they need for the whole year. So girls will not have to interrupt their learning or anything like that throughout the for the school year. They won't have to interrupt it because they have their period and things like that. We also did an episode with Olivia about period poverty. If you want to look back at that, I don't know what episode that is, but if you scroll, you'll be able to see it. It's titled Period Poverty. So we're collecting money on that. I believe we are at $70 right now. Let's try to get to $250 by the end of September. So if you cannot donate, also too, helping would be it will be helpful to share the link with all of your friends. You just hop on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. The link is everywhere. I'm going to have it in the show notes as well. That's one thing. Second thing is we are back with movie recaps for Oops Spoilers. This week, I was like, I'm going to see Don't Worry, Darling. It's called Don't Worry, Darling. There's been so much buzz. You guys saw Spitgate and everything. A Miss Flo, all that stuff. Well, honestly, I was going to see it anyway because I love a good thriller, but with all the drama, I'm like, okay, I must see this movie. I must see what the whole hype is. And apparently, Olivia Wilde is the director, which is crazy because a lot of women aren't directors, and they typically do indie movies, but this isn't an indie movie. I heard that on a podcast somewhere, so hopefully that's the truth. Anyway, I'm going to be reviewing that. Oops, spoilers. So the episode of Oops, Spoilers is going to come out on Wednesday. Today's episode of Those Are the Girls. Tomorrow, you'll hear Oops Spoilers. Friday is another new episode of Diapers and Degrees. Diapers and Degrees is so good. I hope you guys are listening. I'm really enjoying it. Victoria is such a great interviewer. All of these women's stories are just, my goodness, they're good. And it's so perfect because right now we're at this time where a lot of things are kind of up in the air. There's a lot of states, and we're going to talk about it because this is a good segue really into what I want to be talking about today. There's a lot of states that are kind of up in the air, and people really don't know what they are doing, what rights they have when it comes to abortion, and they don't know if they're able to do it, in the sense of people are not sure if they're able to even take care of a child. And I think shows like Diapers and Degrees, not to brag because it's on the greatest media network in the world, but shows like Diapers and Degrees, I mean, it's what people need to hear. So make sure you check it out. You listen to it. There's going to be a link to it. I'll make sure I link it in the show notes as well, because I want you guys to listen. I want you guys to learn something. I want you guys to share it. Share it with girls who are who end up having unplanned pregnancies and really just need love, and who need encouragement. Yeah, I think that's the perfect word. I think it's a really good encouraging, something to just remind you and help you to understand, like, you can do it. You can. Anyway, those are the shows that are coming out this week. You guys check it out. TCAP will be out Saturday. I'm actually going to be in Atlanta this weekend. You know me, just busy. Be a busy bee. So this weekend I'm going to be in Atlanta for another pro-life event. I'll talk more about that probably on next Tuesday's episode, really. But yes, we will have a weekly TCAP. So this is going to be this week. It is a full packed, those are the girls media listing. Okay, I think those are all the announcements. If you really enjoy the show and you want to see it grow more, if you want to see more shows on the media network or anything like that, you can also join our Patreon, though patreon.com/thosearethegirls. Also, too, if you have a show idea, you can submit it and I'll take a look at it. Myself and some others on the board will take a look at it. Okay, I guess that's it. So I'll get into it. So this weekend, I had the absolute honor to speak at the South Carolina Life Conference, as well as be on a panel titled Making the Most Out of Your Social Media. I believe that was the title of the panel. But it was about social media. And it was for the South Carolina Life Conference put on by A Moment of Hope, which is an amazing organization that works in South Carolina. They have a ultrasound bus that they take places. They do sidewalk advocacy. They help coordinate and point people to what is the best option for them, be it raising their child or adoption and things like that. I want to say that this conference, and I'm not saying this just because I was a part of it. I'm saying this because I really enjoyed it. I'm saying this because it's the truth. I think every state should have something like this, because right now, as we know, the conversation, the fight has been brought to the states. You know, they're throwing things out there to codify Roe, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that's anything we should be concerned about. Now, you know, I might change my mind by the time we hear the weekly TCAP, there's some more developments. But right now, I don't really see that being a big issue. I think that's just talk. I think it's all a political strategy. I'm going to talk 2 seconds about this, and then I'm going to get off my soapbox. I'm going to say my high horse, not a high horse, my soapbox. I'm going to get off my soapbox, and then I'm going to talk more about the conference. I think right now we should all be paying attention, and hopefully we can all see what is going on with a lot of this stuff. That is, a lot of these people running for office are using manipulation tactics. They know that we're all talking about it. Everybody's talking about abortion, whether you're into politics or not, which, a reminder, the issue of life is not a political issue. It is a human rights issue that has been politicized. So that's one thing. But they're using this issue because everybody is talking about it, because everybody is discussing it. They're using it as a political pawn. They want us to be stressed over it. They want to manipulate specifically women to vote in a specific way. They want to put this Roe v. Wade decision, to make bills and things like that in regards to that, Roe v. Wade and abortion and codifying using all these words, doing all these things so that they can say, oh, you see, this person I'm running against, they didn't vote for it. You sure you want them to represent you? When in reality, here's something that I heard some pro-choicers say, pro-aborts, that I'm like, good point. In reality, if they really wanted to, they would have already codified Roe. Let's be real. They have had control. They have had people to be able to do that in the past. Before Obama, 8 years, he could have done it. Joe, the last 2 years, they could have done it, but they chose not to. Why? Because they're trying to do things political. They're trying to manipulate women. And that's where we come in. That's where we come in, and we are speaking the truth, trying to help people to understand that abortion is not necessary. We don't need it. It is not something that women should be fighting for. It is murder, and we have alternatives to abortion. There are so many other things you can do aside from an abortion. Before it even gets to that place, there's a lot of other things that can be done, a lot of things that can take place that you won't have to be concerned about before it even gets to the need for an abortion. Before it gets to the desire to have an abortion. No one ever needs an abortion. Okay, so that's just something I want to say. I want everybody to notice that. Notice the tactics. Notice how they're trying to use this election, the 2022 midterms. And then lastly, I want to tell you guys, vote. Especially if you're listening to this and you live in North Carolina, you need to vote. You need to vote. Whether Ted Budd is your favorite character. I mean, we are in a play pretty much. It feels like we're in a movie. Whether Ted Budd is your favorite politician or not, you need to vote. You need to vote. Okay, that's enough about voting. What I really enjoyed about that conference was they brought in different organizations that are all part of the pro-life network together. They brought them together, and they had like a meeting. It was an introduction, a way to talk to us about how we are going to work together to navigate now that we are in a post-Roe America. South Carolina, they are fighting there's a heartbeat bill. If you guys read the blog that was posted yesterday by Jessica, she kind of explains what's going on in South Carolina. They had a heartbeat bill. It's paused right now, at least as of this time that I'm recording it. It's paused. It might not be by the time you listen to this, but it's paused right now, and they were going to completely abolish abortion, which as a North Carolinian, I was like, okay, so it's abolished in South Carolina, great. The amazing people of South Carolina that are working so hard, come on over to North Carolina. We need your help. But now they're still fighting where they are. So there's that. So all of these organizations, though, have come together to work together. And that's really how we're going to fight this thing. And that's also, too, like, this is the body. This is, as Christians, this is what we're supposed to be doing, working together, working for the orphan, the widow, the poor. This is that. This is us coming together to help. So I have some of the, let me see, I have some of the things that we talked about that were just really interesting. I got to take a tour of an ultrasound bus, which I had never been on an ultrasound bus before, and I will post the tour on the Instagram page, and I will also post it on the YouTube as well. But it was really cool to see like all that goes in there. And what ultrasound buses are is they're buses that have an ultrasound machine, and a lot of them are parked outside of Planned Parenthoods and abortion facilities, and people are able to go in there, and it's quick. And doctors, only a doctor can give you an ultrasound. So doctors are on there. Doctors and nurses are on there that can help mothers meet them where they are. There's a lot of barriers. They work really hard. That was one of the people was talking about some of the things that they have put in place to stop pro-lifers that are sidewalk advocacy outside of the Planned Parenthood. If you've never been sidewalk advocacying, that sounds really weird. I guess sidewalk counseling. I have a friend who says it's not counseling, and she doesn't like when people call it counseling. Because she's like, it's not really, you're not actually counseling, you're being an advocate. So I feel weird calling it sidewalk counseling, because she's just like, she put forth a very good argument to call it sidewalk advocacy. Anyway, when you're on the sidewalk, if you've never been on the sidewalk before, I would suggest going at least once just to see how it is and to get a different perspective of what goes on. And, pick the group that you want to go with. There's groups that are going to be praying. There's groups that are, offering resources that bring the blessing bags and walk right on up to help. And there's groups that are kind of, yelling and things like that. But you pick whatever group you want to go with, and I would suggest that you go see it just to see how it is. And there's a lot of barriers that a lot of the pro-aborts have been putting up to block pro-lifers from doing their advocacy. So I don't know who created the idea, but ultrasound buses was a amazing solution. So there are people at many pregnancy resource centers or different organizations have them all across the country. I was just looking into them. They're really cool. And they had one parked outside, and I got to take a tour. It's awesome. Great idea. And I think it's very effective as well. And that's what we also need. We need to make sure we're being effective. So that was one of the things that happened. We got to hear from an OBGYN as well as a lawyer, kind of just talking about how is it in these worlds navigating this overturning of Roe? What are some things that we should be looking at? And that was very interesting. There were some high school and college students kind of talking about how is the temperature on campus? How is it being a high schooler? And one thing that I find very interesting, and this guy, and he said he's going to go to law school after college, I believe he said. Well, I guess you can only go after college. You have to have an undergrad degree, unless you fake it. Shout out to Jeff. If you know, you know. And he said that at his high school, he said high schoolers do not care about politics. They do not want to talk about politics. And he kept hammering, politics are not something high schools want to talk about. And then he said, but abortion, everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about abortion. Everybody has an opinion. It is a hot topic on campus. So I found that very interesting. And he also said my line, never met him before, so he didn't steal it from me. But, he said the thing about how abortion is not political. It's not political. It's human rights. So it's the one thing that is the outlier. It's the thing that, people don't talk about that don't want to talk about it. People who never have an opinion on anything have an opinion on abortion. So we got to hear from them, which was very interesting because, like I said, I'm not in college right now. I don't know. I'm not in high school either right now. So I don't know what's going on. So it's just very interesting listening to them on that. Let me think who else. So, there was also maternity homes there, which I absolutely love the idea of maternity homes. I don't know much about them. There is one at Belmont Abbey, and they also end up being able to get tuition free school. Obviously, there's things that they have to go through and steps they have to take to be able to do all of that. But I think that's pretty cool. And there was multiple maternity homes there, and I got to talk to some of them, and I'm really going to try, those are the girls specifically, just want to try to see how we can help, what we can do for the girls there. We can do some wish lists. Maybe we can, I don't know. If you guys have ideas, email them to me, message me or something like that. Get in contact with me. Either way, some ideas of what we can do to help some of these maternity homes. I think that they're really good and important. One of the ladies, she was tearing up, and I was tearing up. If you know me, it takes nothing for me to cry. So I was tearing up, and I hope I don't tear up as I talk about it. But she was saying how one of the girls or two of the girls were in the home, and they finally were settled in and everything, and they said that maternity means that they're pregnant, by the way. So just FYI, they're pregnant during this. And they said that they had never felt love before until they were able to get into this home, until these strangers took care of them and loved them. They had never felt love before. And when you think about it, these are girls who, they didn't say the age, but she said the youngest they've ever taken in was 13. So these are girls at the very least that have lived their lives 13 years. I feel as if they've never been loved by their parents. And also too, what's so sad is they're pregnant by someone they're realizing didn't even love them. And that to me is that's heartbreaking. And another girl called home and told her mother that she felt safer at the maternity home than she did with her own mother. And things like, oh gosh, it's just so sad. And they need our help because of things like that, because they're working with girls that have these other things. And here's the other thing too. If you're 13, 14, pregnant, and you can't live at home, the reality is there's other things going on in your life. There are other issues that need to be addressed that a maternity home, I think, is a good place for them to be addressed if they're equipped, with a therapist, honestly, the first thing I think of is a therapy. I think that those girls should definitely seek therapy with someone spiritually guiding them. A woman who is spiritually sound, helping them truly discover their relationship with God. So I really want us, as those other girls, to help. If you guys have any ideas what we can do, I'm also going to try to have, I met so many people there that traded business cards to try to get them on the show so they can talk about their organization as well as we can see how we can help them. So the maternity home was fantastic. I talked with this amazing woman. She was with Restored Life, which is a branch of Love Life, and what they do is work with women who have had abortions and work with them healing. And I was talking to her and a couple other ladies about what's going on in churches when it comes to abortion, how people are kind of just like not really saying anything. Churches are kind of either being silent or, well, at this point, they're either very silent about it or very vocal about their stance on it, and just talking about that. And we were saying that, like, there's women who are, and the main reason churches don't want to do it is because they don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, which I think is not necessarily a bad thing. I think wanting to have compassion, wanting to love someone. She was saying how there was a pastor said he was hesitant because these women are already traumatized. He didn't want to re-traumatize them. Understandable. But there's women who are in the congregation, like you said, that have gone through that, but they don't know that once they repent, God loves them. They don't know that once they've asked for forgiveness, once they've turned, repentant means to turn away. Once they have turned from that sin, God loves them. Like, God isn't mad at them, but they don't know that because they're not talking about that and they're not able to heal. They're holding all of this in their hearts because they haven't been able to heal. So it's really important for pastors to talk about it. And Restored Life even has resources for your pastor to talk about it. They have someone who connects you if you yourself have been healed from an abortion, and you want to start a Bible study at your church. They have resources for that. And I think that's amazing. I think that's also something that every church should have. Every church should have an abortion recovery person. Every church should have, honestly, every church should have an Embrace Grace or / Embrace Grace program. In other words, a program for mothers who are pregnant, that have experienced unplanned pregnancies or are pregnant in general. As I'm saying that, because I've been to small churches where I don't think anyone has had an unplanned pregnancy. So I don't know if they would need one, but I think that a lot of the stuff could be just like a thing for pregnant women in general, I think would be good because women who have had planned and unplanned pregnancies, now that I think about it, I don't even know if it would be good to separate them. Why not just have something for pregnant women? It's a program every semester. You go through a Bible study together. You talk about things. You have a baby shower. Even if this woman is like, in a very healthy, loving relationship, I feel like maybe she should still get help from her church or, have that like Bible study with her church or something. Now that I think about it, I think it'd be good for all churches just to have it for everyone that's pregnant. And then, if there are some people who are experiencing like an unplanned pregnancy and there's other separate issues, they can have the women's ministry director can be equipped to how to help her, something like that. Look at me trying to not, how does the saying go? Not me trying to organize a church. But yeah, if you're listening, if you're a women's ministry director, pastor, whatever you want to call yourself, I think you should try to be equipped on how to how to help women who experience unplanned pregnancies. So just a tip from those little girls. So we heard from those people. I talked social media with some people who are running pregnancy resource centers. You guys, if you are trying to figure out how to get involved with your local pregnancy resource center, maybe reach out and ask if they need help social media wise, if you're into social media. If you're not, use another skill you have. But seriously, reach out to your pregnancy resource centers. I'm sure they need help. I'm sure that they, not in like a rude way, but I'm sure they like could use help. Maybe not need help. I'm sure they could use help. And, they're not funded by the government, so they don't have all these other things that Planned Parenthood has. They don't have the same reach. And what I desire is just how I keep getting these ads from Planned Parenthood, because there's a very, 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 very important race. It's going to be incredibly close, happening in Charlotte. And I guess because of my zip code, I keep getting these ads from Planned Parenthood. I'm like, why do I keep getting these ads from Planned Parenthood? Stop showing me. I will not vote for this person. Like, I'm going to vote for this person. You telling me that she might ban abortion in North Carolina? Great. I will be voting for her. Fantastic news. Glad to hear. You're going to vote for her. Anyway, I was going to vote for her either way. Wonderful woman, hardworking Cheryl Russo. Shout out to you. Great woman. Very hardworking. She truly does care. She's leaving a wonderful, successful career to go and I'm going to say this, then I'm going to get back on topic. So our local politicians, I don't know if you guys know this, they don't make money. When you work for your state government, you do not make money. I want to say in North Carolina, their salary is like $14,000 a year. You're going to your state house, your state senate because you care. You're going because you actually want to make a difference. I'm not saying that those who are going to like the U.S. Congress don't care and they don't want to make a difference. What I am saying is if you're going to your state house, state senate, you're trying to make a difference. So that's just something to remember and consider and to think about those people, because a lot of times people forget about their elections. Everybody's having elections this midterm, November 8th, 2022. Okay, so what else? Who else was there? Oh, I spoke with this lady who talked about birth control. And if you guys know, we are anti-birth control on this podcast. We do not think that it is necessary. It harms women. Birth control, hormonal birth control harms women. You can go back. We have a birth control episode and we talk a little bit about it in our period, all about the periods episode back in March. You just got to scroll. You'll find it. And I honestly am going to have her or someone else from her organization on the podcast to talk even more in depth about it. And to talk more, she and I actually talked and she gave me like this little packet of like research she had done. She had typed up and she didn't know why she brought it, but then she gave it to me. So I'm like, oh, praise God. And she like the packet is very interesting and I don't necessarily want to like read the packet, like regurgitate the information, because that's not necessarily what I want to do, but let me pull this up. Let's see here. Oh, and she talks about all the different ways of, because the thing is, you guys, there's only a couple days out of the month that we can get pregnant as women. And if you don't want to get pregnant, just don't have sex during those days. But we've been told, especially because of birth control, we've been told, you have sex any and one time. Good luck. So that's how they market it. And that's just not the truth. But we're not taught this. But she gave me this packet of like really good information. And it's titled Bible Concepts versus Passages and Inferences Relating to Artificial Birth Control and Natural Family Planning. So it's like, oh, it was really good information, and all these verses. I mean, it's verses on verses about how we're supposed to go about this. So yeah, so I really want to have her talk more about it. Let me think what else. I think that's kind of just like the gist of the conference. I think that if your state has something like this, I would really get involved, because more than anything, you're going to hear about different pro-life organizations, and you're going to hear about how what different pro-life organizations are doing in your state and how you can get involved, and also just being aware of what's going on. I think that a lot of times pro-lifers are excited, they want to help, but they just don't know where to start. And I get a lot of messages, people asking me questions about like where to start, how to do it. Things like this are really good. You'll meet new people. You'll be able to look at organizations, figure out like where do you want to help, where do you want to serve, what organization you think that you can put some time and energy into. You don't have to do all 20 something. I think there was 20 there. You don't have to put your time and energy to all 20 of them. You don't have to donate to all 20 of them. Just find one or two, or even one if you just don't, or if you don't have the time or the money, just find at least one and decide, okay, this is how I'm going to help. This is what I'm going to do. And that is how we're going to do it. If we all did it, all of us pro-lifers in our states, if we all did something like that, we could really make a difference. So yeah, that is the recap, I guess, of the South Carolina life conference. I'm excited for next year. I want to do one in North Carolina really badly. So if you live in North Carolina and that's something you'd be interested in, let me know. I'm trying to think of anything else. If you enjoy this episode, make sure that you like, rate, review, subscribe however you listen. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel and that you like it. And if you're a girl, please comment. A lot of times we're getting comments from random guys. This is a female-oriented podcast. No shade to the men that listen. We appreciate you. But this is a female-oriented podcast, so I am confused why so many guys are listening. But if you're a woman, please like, review, comment. Once again, nothing against men, but we're here for the ladies. This is for the girlies. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, please make sure you leave a 5-star review. 5 stars. And if you can leave a comment, if you enjoy the podcast, seriously, if you leave a review, 5-star rating and a review. If you enjoyed this episode and previous episodes, and if you think you're going to enjoy the episodes in the future, please leave a review. It really helps. If you're listening on Spotify, please make sure you follow and you can rate it. And then if there is a way to interact in previous episodes, please make sure you interact. Some of them you can enter polls, or you can leave comments, things like that. That would be fabulous. I'm trying to think of anything else. I guess that's it. Thank you everyone for listening, and see you on Those Are the Girls podcast on Saturday. Bye.